Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Anglers Channel Insider at Sportsman's Warehouse with Sportsman's Warehouse Pro Anthony Gagliardi, FLW Cup champion from 2014. And Anthony, 2014 is over. We're into 2015, and that means, you know, it's early February. We got a lot of tournaments that are starting to really hit the region. This weekend, we've put some focus on team trails, and the Carolinas Bass Challenge kicks off this Saturday at Lake Murray at Drew Allen State Park. It's one of the hottest team trails in the nation. $8,000 guaranteed for first place. We got a rattle trap open down on Lake Gunnersville. We got some BFLs going on all over the place. It's a busy, busy weekend for the weekend anglers. So with that being said, let's start at Murray. That's your home lake. A lot of talk about the A-rig catching fish. Last weekend, 25 pounds was the magic number to win some tournaments up there. I think it's going to be more than that Saturday just because of the numbers and the quality of the anglers.
It very well could be. You know, obviously, this is a really good time of year to fish on Lake Murray. This is when all those big fish that live out there and suspend in deep water, they come in shallow, at least some of them do, and they're just accessible now. And those big fish they're wanting to eat. You know, they're preparing for the spawn that'll be coming up here in another month or two. And it's just my favorite time of year to go out on the lake and catch a big fish. And not only catch a big fish, but you can catch a really big stringer this time of year. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I think there are going to be a lot of limits weighed in, and we're looking forward to being at the weigh-in. Let's talk about the A-rig. You know, we got two A-rigs here that are pretty common. And, you know, obviously this bait has just been really the revolutionary bait the past 18 months, 2 years, and it's no secret you got more hooks in the water, right? And guys have gotten better throwing it. Right. So, you know, with the conditions the way they are at Murray, I guess it would make sense this is going to be a hot bait.
Well, absolutely. You know, this will definitely play a role this weekend, as it does in most every tournament that's held, no matter what part in the country this time of year. It's just, you know, it's a tremendous way to catch a big fish, you know, this time of year. And it's simple math, like you said. I mean, you have more baits in the water. It gives the fish a bigger profile, you know, something to focus on. And it's just not something they're accustomed to seeing. And so I think it triggers a response in these fish that, you know, the normal presentations don't always trigger. You know, it's a real aggressive, you know, they don't think about it. They just see it and they attack it. And you can tell by the violent type hits that you get on the A-rig that it's just a different bite. And these fish, they don't see this thing as an imitation. You know, they think it's a ball of bait coming through the water.
Right, that's pretty neat. And this is a Picasso brand, and you know, they've got a bunch of A-rigs here at Sportsman's Warehouse. Don't forget, you can get these online 24/7 at www.sportsmanswarehouse.com. This is a new A-rig that we just saw that Z-Man makes, and it's a pretty neat little deal.
Yeah, it is. You know, the first one you were holding up, and this is more of your traditional. You know, it's still a little bit of a smaller profile, but it's your more traditional 5-arm. Right. It's got 4 blades on the arms, and you can put 5 baits on it. So, you know, it's a great, and you know, that's a great A-rig. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes a lot of people have a hard time fishing that type A-rig all day long. And you know, with a rig like this, you can see it's a lot more compact. You can fish it with just one bait if you like to, or you could put a couple baits on it. But this particular bait and any A-rig this size, it'll allow you to fish, you know, effortlessly all day. You can make casts with this like you'd make with a 1/4 ounce or 3/8 ounce spinnerbait. You know, you can make some underhand, you know, flip casts or roll casts under piers or around brush, and you can really be accurate with this. And this is an added dimension to the A-rig fishing. You still get that tight presentation, but you're able to put this smaller one in places that you can't normally, you know, place a large style A-rig like that. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Now let's talk about some shallow running crankbaits you think will be effective out on Murray this weekend. What you got?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this time of year, you know, you can always catch fish on a crankbait, and I think, you know, most people from around here, you know, South Carolina, North Carolina, they're familiar. You're obviously familiar with the shad wrap. You know, the shad wrap is it's a great early springtime bait. You know, late winter right now, and the shad wrap is I like the shad wrap because you don't have to fish that in stained water. You know, there's a lot of crankbaits. You know, for instance, we have a square bill here. I like to fish the square bill in just a little bit stained water. But the shad wrap, you know, it's just such a subtle swim. You know, it's a subtle presentation. It's like a finesse crankbait to me. Right. And you know, I'll fish this on light line, and you can catch a lot of big fish on this bait in gin clear water, which, you know, a lot of times it's hard to do that on a crankbait. So, you know, that's one of the reasons it makes the shad wrap so special.
Well, and unless something's changed, Murray's very clear right now.
It is. There is a little bit of color. We obviously had a lot of rain, over the course of the winter. So there's some places in the lake that have a little bit of color that don't normally color up that much. So that's a good thing, though. That kind of, anytime we have a lot of rain, a lot of water coming into the lake and it dirties up in places that the fish aren't used to seeing that, it really triggers a good bite. And, one of the reasons for that is they can't see, first of all, they can't see the bait's really good. And so, they don't know it's not real, and so they're attacking it. In a second, the water's going to warm up a little bit faster, and I think that's probably going to be the case this weekend. It looks like we're going to have some, a little bit warmer temperatures.
65 on Saturday.
Exactly. It's going to be in the upper 60s maybe. The sun's going to be shining, which the sun plays a bigger role than the air temperatures. The air temperature's really not that important. It's the sunshine. So whenever you get that sun beating down on water, it has a little bit of color to it. It's just going to allow it to warm up that much faster, and the fish they're going to trigger a little bit quicker. They're just metabolism's just start increasing, and it's just going to cause a feeding bite to happen a little bit quicker.
Man, that's really good insight. Well, I'm excited about it. I think, as you say, it's a great time of the year to fish on Murray, and I think the quality of the anglers that come out and fish the CBC, we're going to have some really good sacks. I think a lot of limits. Rob Dye, another pro staffer of ours yesterday, thought 25, 28 pounds is going to take to win. And if 25 was last weekend and not a whole lot's changed, I'm there. I think it's going to be we could see a 30-pound bag. I mean, it's that time of year on Murray. So get ready. It's going to be fun. Now, the Rattle Trap Open on Guntersville, a little different lake, a lot of lily pads on that lake. I'm not too familiar with Guntersville in February. What can you tell us about it?
It's just good. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It's just good. I mean, it's got a lot of grass in it. It's a shallow lake. So, I mean, it's real conducive to a rattle trap bite in the first place. It's a lot of fun. It's been a couple of years since I think I've been there fishing this time of year, but the last time we were there, it's just phenomenal. And then not only, obviously that's a rattle trap tournament, but this A-rig right here is pretty special over at that place. That's actually the first lake that I ever fished it in a tournament. Right. I finished third in a FLW Open over there in the fall, and that's the tournament that started the whole A-rig phenomenon. That's when Paul Elias won, and to this day it's still really good for the A-rig. But the rattle trap there it's always been a good bait on any type of grass lake early in the year, and so that'll definitely be a fun tournament. Man,
that's awesome. Well, it's great seeing you, and you got to take off here in about what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, we're getting close. 2.5, 3 weeks. I'll get kicked off at Lake Toho down in Orlando. So I'm kind of getting geared up for that. Starting to blow some dust off some of my tackle in my garage and go through it. I got to get everything organized and like I want it. And new boat coming in a couple of weeks.
With that new G2 on the back.
Exactly. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm really geared up for that G2. I've talked to a couple guys that have had a chance to fish out of it already in some tournaments, and it's been nothing but just exceedingly glowing, reviews coming back. So I'm really excited.
When that boat engine package gets in, call me. I'll come down. I want to go out for a ride on it because I've been on a few rides, but they're really starting to hit the water, and guys are just excited about hearing and learning all they can about the G2. And as you build time on the engine, I know you monitor engine trends and all that. You'll be able to tell us some more insight on that great new technology. But I think Evinrude's got something there. It's going to be exciting. Man, great seeing you. We're going to see you again before you go. Okay. Then Vance McCullough, Anglers Channel Insider, will be down at Toho covering the tour event down there. And we'll hook up with Anthony next week or the week after. Folks, if you're fishing on the water, be safe, and we'll see you next week.